Have you ever heard of water? Of course you have. We use it every day. Have you drank your water yet? You should, because hydration is an important part of our lives. But if we look deeper into what water really is, you will be surprised. So let's dive right in, shall we? Water is a substance composed of the elements hydrogen and oxygen, which its scientific name is H2O. Bear with me because it may look complicated on the surface, but water is a compound that can support all three phases of matter, and it's all thanks to its hydrogen bond. That allows it to change along with its temperature. It's also called to be the universal solvent, and it's widely accepted to be it too. Have you ever eaten, or rather drank, soup? How about Coca-Cola? Well, that's water with some other ingredients dissolved into it. The things dissolved inside the water are called solutes. Being a solvent is also thanks to its polarity, as well as the hydrogen bonds it forms. The amazing thing is, our planet's surface is 71% water. You want to know something even more crazier? An adult human is made up of roughly 60% water. Water also washes the dirt off of us due to its unique property of being a solvent. Guess you could say it solvents all problems. But let me enumerate some of the properties of water so that we have the general knowledge of what we will encounter. There's cohesion, adhesion, density, specific heat capacity, surface tension, and heat vaporization. Now, these may seem intimidating, but don't drown in the details. We will be explaining all of these in a very informative but brief and simple manner. Firstly, cohesion and adhesion. To put it simply, they are the properties that explain how water molecules interact with each other. Not so hard, right? Cohesion simply means how water likes to stick to itself, which is why if water is dropped on a flat surface, it will form a circular pocket of water, which is also why raindrops are formed. Adhesion is the same, but instead of water sticking to itself, it sticks to another surface. Now on to density. Usually, density is the mass per unit of a substance, and it is. The density of water is roughly 1 gram per cubic centimeter. The water's lower density when in solid form is caused by the hydrogen bond, is oriented as it freezes. And because the ice is less dense than the water itself, things like icebergs stay on the surface and affect only mostly on the surface of the ocean, and making life habitable for the marine life. The benefits of the density of water are numerous and vast, but one thing's for sure: the passengers of the Titanic were not happy about this property. Next up is surface tension. It's actually very similar to cohesion in a way that it allows water droplets to stay into drops and allows it to stick to certain surfaces, but it also allows objects with less density to float on water, like leaves, insects, and even people. Lastly is the specific heat capacity and heat vaporization. The specific heat capacity is the amount of heat it takes to raise a gram of water up to 1 degree Celsius. And it just so happens that water has an absurdly high specific heat capacity, which is why water is very hard to heat up, but stays heated up longer than its surroundings. An example of this is when you're at a beach and the water is warmer than the sand at night rather than the day. That's because the specific heat capacity of water is 5 times greater than that of sand. On the topic of temperature, heat vaporization, or to put it much more simply, boiling point of the water is the point of temperature when water starts breaking down and the hydrogen bonds starts dissipating. It is this process that turns water into water vapor or steam, thus changing its state of matter into gas. So why am I telling you all of this? Well, it's to show you how important and one of a kind water really is. And nothing good will come out of water disappearing or changing from our world. Water keeps us hydrated, clean, and it keeps our sky blue. It houses a vast ecosystem of marine life, and it keeps the world of both man and animals well fed. Water was specifically created for this purpose, and there are no other pros to water's disappearance. But the sad reality is that water is slowly becoming a non-renewable resource, and unnecessary water consumption has only been growing. But for our future generation, we must learn to appreciate and realize how much we take water for granted. Because no other compound or element we know of can replicate all of water's properties.